Welcome to GESARA for Dummies. It is April 29, 2025. Let's look at today's news from Professor William Liebenberg, prepared by Martin Stein. Please like, share and subscribe. Join our Telegram group in the comments below. Thank you. Let's go. Iraq and Dinar RV. So, all of a sudden today, Iraq launched the slogan of promoting the integration of people, determination, and vulnerable groups into the official financial system. It started April 27, and it will end on May 5. Getting everyone into the Temenos financial system is intensifying. Trade Bank of Iraq just made it official. Iraq is locking people inside the banking system. Free Visa cards. Free current accounts. Free savings accounts. Free deposit accounts. Full banking access, no fees, no barriers. This isn't about helping the poor, this is all about moving every last dinar off the streets and into the system before the rate shifts. When you see free banking at scale, it's not charity, it's a system reset. They're vacuuming every ounce of liquidity into the vaults before they flip the switch. Final compliance. Final digitization. Final consolidation. The trade bank didn't just open the doors. No, they're pulling you in, shutting them behind you, and bolting them shut. This is it. The GESARA law. Blockchain Association of the Cayman Islands announces first ever on-chain election. In a pioneering move towards transparent governance, the Blockchain Association of the Cayman Islands is proud to announce that it will conduct its 2025 Steering Committee election entirely on-chain for the first time ever. This innovative approach introduces a secure, tamper-proof digital ballot system designed to make voting simple, trustworthy, and accessible for all Blockchain Association of the Cayman Islands corporate members. Welcome to the future of voting, from the comfort of your phone. GESARA's blockchain voting is here. BRICS GESARA Nations Alliance. Republic of Congo would like to join BRICS, President says. BRICS projects in our opinion are interesting for Africa, and for our country in particular. We think that in this case, Congo will be ready to take its place in BRICS, Denis Sassou Nguesso told the Russian media. The president said that he would take part in a number of BRICS meetings, the last of which was in Russia in 2024. We saw that BRICS is opening its doors to other states, and is ready to expand. I think this is an important step, Sassou Nguesso noted. Digital currencies, and fiat money, navigate the path to coexistence, News Ghana. The global financial system is experiencing significant transformation as digital currencies, including cryptocurrencies and central bank digital currencies, challenge traditional nations of money. While these innovations gain momentum, experts emphasize that fiat currencies, backed by decades of institutional trust, are unlikely to disappear. Instead, a hybrid model appears poised to redefine how money functions in the digital age. Hard cash will remain a fundamental BRICS principle, banks in the economy. U.S. President Trump says he runs the world. Why does he say such an outrageous thing? To understand it, you need to know that President Trump is the Exchequer of the treasuries for every single country on Earth. Q military intelligence says, the future proves the past. His worldwide capitulation tour, when they all submitted to him. Something to ponder on. If Donald Trump is Exchequer of the Vatican Bank, wouldn't that make him Holy See while the seat is vacant? Isn't it fascinating that the Pope died at this critical point in history? Listen closely to what Q military intelligence post-1950 says. U.S. Holy See relations. The Holy See is the universal government of the Catholic Church, and operates from the Vatican City-State, a sovereign, independent territory. The Pope is the ruler of both the Vatican City-State and the Holy See. The Holy See, as the supreme body of government of the Catholic Church, is a sovereign juridical entity under international law. Wealth? Power? Sanctuary against criminal prosecution? Recipe for. Remember the 2017 capitulation tour when Trump visited the Pope? The Bank of London/Vatican Bank/Federal Reserve all capitulated to Trump, and he became an exchequer. The Vatican Bank was founded in 1942. It handles the Church's wealth and its global financial arms. Whoever controls the bank holds practical leverage over cardinals, dioceses, and international reach. The Holy See is the jurisdiction of the Pope, and encompasses the Church's central governance. During sedevacante, vacant seat, the Camerlengo administers the Vatican's temporal goods, but has no authority over doctrine or church direction. But canon law presumes no foreign power controls the Vatican Bank. If a non-cardinal, like Trump, sees that power through legal, military, or economic means, Canon law is nullified in practice. If Trump holds Exchequer powers, he may de facto override the current Camerlengo, who happens to be an American, Kevin Farrell, in managing assets, effectively controlling the body while the soul, papacy, is absent. Q military intelligence. He who controls the gold. What powers would he have as interim pope? Canon law does not allow for a non-cardinal or non-cleric to assume any papal functions. But extra-canonically, in a scenario of total collapse or exposure to corruption, it's possible a financial steward could step into power de facto, especially if he's seen as a purifier or restorer. Could he disband the conclave selection process? Could he reinstate the excommunicated Vigano? Could he replace the selection process, so the people have a voice? Disband the conclave? Only by force or through exposed illegitimacy, for example, blackmail, deep state infiltration. Reinstate Vigano? Yes, if he becomes pope, or overrides the Vatican administration via financial or public support. Reform the selection process? In theory, if a new constitution is imposed, perhaps mirroring Christendom's original pre-papal model. What remains of the Church? If the institution is hijacked or corrupted, only the faithful and the world remain. In this scenario, Trump might symbolize a cleansing force, a temporal agent preparing the Church for rebirth, possibly handing it back to the people or God's anointed. But Trump isn't a cardinal or a bishop. Canonically invalid, he's not a bishop, cardinal, or cleric. But if the Church is proven infiltrated or illegitimate, for example, via corruption or satanic compromise, then spiritual leadership could revert to a Davidic figure, chosen by the people or by Providence. Conclusion: if the Bank of London, Federal Reserve, and Vatican Bank capitulated to Trump in 2017, this makes him, symbolically, king of the financial axis, reviving the three crowns of the papal tiara. Spiritual supremacy, temporal kingship, and judicial authority over kings/nations. Payment systems. Stablecoins are just the top of the iceberg. Tokenization is about to reshape global finance, and Ripple is at the forefront of it. Ripple's innovation gives us a glimpse of finance's future. Tokenization is a game changer, and Ripple is driving this transformation. Expect significant impacts on tokenized real estate and commodities. Ripple President Monica Long says, Ripple has no plans to go public in 2025, and highlights an $11.3 billion valuation after share buybacks. Ripple is the last company on earth that needs to go public. They don't need an initial public offering. No reason for them to do it. They have all the money they need. Ripple owns half of the XRP supply, they just cash out the XRP, and buy whatever they want. Companies go public to raise money. Ripple doesn't need to. Ripple is funded well. They have a healthy balance sheet, and have no need for an initial public offering at this time. All XRP bloggers keep talking about an initial public offering, but Brad Garlinghouse said earlier, in 2024, they don't need an initial public offering. Another 3 XRP ETFs will go live on April 30th in the US. ProShares gets SEC greenlight for 3 XRP ETFs. This development follows the conclusion of Ripple's legal battle with the SEC, clearing regulatory hurdles for XRP. Promissory notes tokenization, clear example of blockchain for the public good. The Bank for International Settlements Innovation Hub, World Bank, and Swiss National Bank have in the past week announced the findings of their co-work-through Project Promissa, details announced just over 15 months ago. The initiative feeds into a G20 ambition to deliver better, bigger and more effective multilateral development banks by substantially increasing their financing capacity. A promissory note is a financial instrument that contains a signed commitment by one party to pay a specified sum of money to another over a predetermined period. Multilateral development banks, such as the World Bank, have used promissory notes, most of which are still paper-based, to track and enable multi-year financial commitments from member countries, in a process that the Bank for International Settlements describes as overly complicated and requiring constant reconciliation. The Seven Kingdoms. Unclear if NATO will continue to exist in coming decades, Germany's incoming Chancellor Merz in a speech before the CDU's Federal Committee. India will divide Pakistan into 4 parts by the end of this year, lawmaker Dubey. Pakistan says it will use nukes if existence is threatened. Currency wars. The global economic system, under which most countries have operated for the last 80 years, is being reset, ushering the world into a new era. Existing rules are challenged, while new ones are emerging like tariffs, stablecoins, gold standards, etc. Our global system warrants remapping, and it is happening. Global systems integration is not an objective in and of itself. It is a means to improve living standards for all, and Trump is leading the charge. April 28, 2025, in an interview with The Atlantic, President Trump made a striking assertion, declaring, "I run the country and the world." The phrase suggests a centralized, commanding role in shaping national and international affairs, reflecting his ongoing narrative of strong leadership. In reality, he is steering the world towards the gold-backed financial system. April 20, 2025, President Trump's recent post slammed non-tariff cheating, pinpointing currency manipulation as a top threat to fair trade. Echoing his level playing field mantra, Trump's boldest statement, "He who has the gold, makes the rules." The gold is indeed controlled by the alliance. That sums up your Tuesday news. See you tomorrow.